Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'du. Before we begin, let us praise Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has gathered all of us here today in good health and well-being. And also, let us give our salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who have brought us from darkness to bright side. May we all receive his syafaat in the end of times. Amin ya rabbal alamin. My fellow Muslim, as it is known that fasting is one of the greatest worship and the best practice of obedience, and the fasting of Ramadan is the highest fasting and obligatory for all Muslims. Allah stated that the practice of fasting is for Him, and He directly who gave multiple replies is specified with the door of heaven, and people who fasting from it are called to enter. Didn't allow it to enter except those who are fasting. There are so many virtues of fasting in the month of Ramadan, which is reported in Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. Among the virtues of fasting of Ramadan are the following. Number 1, that fasting is also obligatory for the people before us. Allah say in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 183, A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu kutiba alaikumus siyamu kama kutiba alal ladzina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. And the meaning is, O faithful people, it is obligatory for you to fast as it requires of those before you, so that you are cautious. If fasting is not a great practice, then it cannot be that fasting is also required of people before us. Even though their fasting is different from ours, it means that it is not the month of Ramadan that is required of them, but the practice of fasting itself has been obligated on them, which indicates that this practice is very great. And number 2, fasting is the cause for the forgiveness of sins and mistakes. Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Whoever fasts in Ramadan with faith and hope is forgiven his past sins." In here, faith means having faith in Allah and being pleased with the obligatory in fasting of Ramadan. And hope is mean expecting a reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. If a person is sure and pleased with his obligation of fast and doesn't hate the obligation of fasting in Ramadan, also they believe in the reward that will be obtained, so they will be forgiven for their previous sins. Number 3, that the reward of fasting is not tied to a certain amount, but the reward is given to people who fasting without any calculation. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "All the deeds of Adam's sons for him and multiplied everyone good is considered 10 times that goodness and multiplied to be 700 times. Allah said, "Accept fasting because the deeds were for me, and I will repay them, due to leaving his shahwat and food for me," reported by Muslim. And number 4, there is 2 happiness for one who fasting. First happiness is when breaking the fast after a full day of restrained lust, hunger and thirst, and the second happiness is meeting Allah in the afterlife by being included in His heaven. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "For people who fast, there is 2 happiness. Happiness when breaking the fast, and happiness in meeting His Lord." And the next one is number 5, that the practice of fasting gives intercession for those who practice it. like the Al-Quran, which give intercession in the afterlife for those who read it. And those are the 5 virtues of Ramadan fasting and many more virtues related to the practice of fasting. By obliging practice, not only to reward us, it even makes us as the main creators and full of bright future. May we be made as His servants who are obedient and happy with all His decisions. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. So dear my fellow Muslim, this is my Islamic speech that I can deliver to you guys. I hope it can remind us of the virtue of fasting. I'm so sorry if I make a lot of mistake or my pronunciation didn't go well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.